Before I jump into today's video, I do want to address some things. A lot of you guys are coming at me in the comments of my recent video saying, oh, why is this guy such a COD hater? Why do you still play COD in the background? Why are you use COD in the gameplay? Why are you so high prestige? Blah, blah, blah. Guys, it's a Call of Duty channel. I don't hate Call of Duty, okay? Yes, it's easy to bash a game, and I'm sure I will bash Battlefield 6 too, but let me enjoy something. Let me be excited for something. And, you know, a lot of you guys are probably going to say, oh, why don't you just be excited for Black Ops 7 then? My personal opinion, does that really warrant a response? Do I really need to answer why I should not be excited for a game like Black Ops 7? First off, we have Black Ops 7 already. It's called Black Ops 6. All that's going to happen is we're going to get better maps and probably stronger skill-based matchmaking. Like, everybody knows what's going to happen already. The fact that Call of Duty continuously launches a brand new game that's definitely unfinished, definitely unpolished every single year, and they expect the community to just eat it up, spend, you know, thousands of dollars on microtransactions, and then just like stay silent and then go next every single year. I think it's going to end at some point. And I think Battlefield 6, you know, much like X-Defiant, much like other FPS shooter games in recent years, has an actual chance of stopping this. And so, yeah, we're going to talk about Battlefield 6 yet again in this video because, again, there's not much coming up in terms of Black Ops 7 or Black Ops 6 even too. I think some news dropped about like a zombies thing in Black Ops 6. I don't know who's excited about that, but yeah, we're not hyped for that. We don't care. In the infamous words of my man Stephen A. Smith, we do not care. Let's jump into something that we do care about, which is Battlefield 6. It is going to have skill-based matchmaking. I know. You know, bring in the booze, start throwing the tomatoes. People don't want skill-based matchmaking. However, I will say that EA has come out with a personal statement or a, you know, company statement saying that Battlefield 6 matchmaking is going to end up focusing on ping, player's location, server availability, and some skill factor. And the matchmaking factors will vary based on each game mode and player counts. So it's, this came out at the press briefing at a Battlefield 6 event. Unfortunately, skill-based matchmaking is back in the game. However, the positive here, and I'm going to break the ice here, and, you know, usually you should save this kind of thing for the end of the video, but I'm going to give it to you guys now. Skill-based matchmaking is not going to be the same as it is in Call of Duty. However, it will be essentially skill-based in terms of teams. It's going to try to balance teams, players from all skill brackets in one lobby. So it's going to try to match it by team. So it's really like team-based matchmaking. However, I'm not going to come out here and tell you that no skill is involved at all. So anyway, skill-based matchmaking, it's going to be in this game. It is not the primary way that matchmaking is going to be handled, and I think that's good. I think that ping and player's location is the most important. Ping should always be king, like my man 402 Thunder 402 has always said, you know, doing those COD commentaries for like, 15 years now at this point. Dude has always said, and he's been spitting, that ping is king. We need to prioritize connection. I remember back in like the Modern Warfare 2, Black Ops 1, Modern Warfare 3, you know, YouTube videos where, you know, your creators like XJaws and Thunder, Chris Smoove, you know, they would, T Martin even, like, you know, they were always talking about how ping is important, how like, oh, I don't have host today and things like that. Like, that stuff matters so much, but Call of Duty and a lot of FPS games, unfortunately, have not, you know, realized that. They have not stayed true to it. You know, in all reality, they are really basing it just on skill, because it turns out that skill-based matchmaking, surprise, surprise, you know, keeps players on longer. It retains players for a long period of time than if you just didn't do it. And then if you just did ping, because people would get stomped and leave, or people would do the stomping and then eventually grow bored. And so I'm for it. You know, I've made, you know, my fair share of skill-based matchmaking videos in the past, but yes, skill-based matchmaking deserves some role in modern gaming, because you can't have handicapped people getting destroyed and bodied, but you don't want every single lobby to be a sweat fest. And I think that's what a lot of people are fearful for. It doesn't seem like Battlefield 6 is going to have that to the same degree that Call of Duty has, based on the you know, tweets that I'm reading and the sources that I'm seeing. A lot of it coming from Charlie Intel, Tom Henderson, Tactical Brit saying stuff, you know, like, excuse me, these are some bigger content creators, bigger news sources and outlets that are essentially saying the opposite of a lot of our fears, right? A lot of our fears being, you know, ping, players' locations, things like that, like not being prioritized. And you can bet your bottom dollar, you can bet your booty hole that Black Ops 7 is not going to prioritize ping and players' locations, because guess what? If they were gonna, they would have said so. All right, they definitely would say so when it comes to the game, when it comes to the gaming system, because that would benefit them. That would, really save the Call of Duty franchise to a huge degree if they would just listen to the community. Like, oh, a lot of people don't like that we have, XYZ in the game. Maybe we shouldn't have it. But no, they double down and then they throw in more cosmetic skins that people don't ask for. And I know that people don't ask for them, but at the same time, there is a huge, huge selection of the casual player base that will just eat this up. They will buy and, just do whatever when it comes to the cosmetic skins. That's why you see so many Stan Smiths running around and Nicki Minaj's and things like that. You'll see it because people want it. People buy it. And, you and me, smart individuals, people who, know what a freaking 401k and an investment account is, we know that our money is better spent elsewhere, better used elsewhere. But for the vast majority of COD players, they don't know that, and it's really unfortunate. I got another tweet here coming from Dexerto, and he says, or they say that Battlefield 6 is going to have skill-based matchmaking and no server browser outside of Portal. Players who want to queue for normal game modes are going to be subject to skill-based matchmaking. This definitely sounds a little unfortunate. However, team balancing, again, is not the same as skill-based matchmaking, okay? It's definitely not the same. And I think that's good. I think a lot of you guys who have played Battlefield games in the past are probably going to realize, like, yeah, it's probably more so team-based matchmaking rather than skill. Because Battlefield is not like a 6v6 shooter like COD is, you're not going to feel the effects nearly as much. I got another tweet here that I wanted to recognize here from one of the producers at EA DICE. Her name is Alexia Christofi, Lex_mate. And she says, feels like your most important things are persistent servers, a sense of community and a way to play together, being able to choose specific maps and modes, being able to filter by ping and server fullness, and then support for low pop regions. And I think it's really good that a community manager is actually, surprise, surprise, communicating with the community. I think it's like, your job. So yeah, definitely great to hear that, the community manager or a producer of a video game is, excited and willing to share like things that you might not need to share, right? Like she doesn't need to come out here and say that skill-based matchmaking is a thing and that we're prioritizing ping and things like that. You don't need to say that as a producer or as a game developer. But it's really good to hear that. It makes me, as someone who doesn't even play like Battlefield games, feel a little more like, oh, hey, like, this person's trying to take care of me. I might not know them in the slightest or whatever, but like they're at least trying. And I think that's worth me at least giving it a shot. Again, maybe not on, a full on $70 or something like that, but at least Game Pass, at least a beta code, which I believe the beta, I actually don't know the dates. I think I posted on my YouTube recently, but it's coming up. There's a couple weekends in August, and I think it's worth checking out. I think for a lot of COD fans, I said this in my previous video, but if you're a COD fan, check it out. There's no point in being so, I'm never going to touch a game besides Call of Duty. Like, if you want Call of Duty to get better, which is, personally what I want, I think there's no harm in checking out another game and forcing the Call of Duty developers to actually try, force them to actually, come up with something that is like, hey, maybe I need to get better at this. Maybe I need to improve when it comes to matchmaking, and maybe I need to listen to the community, because otherwise, you're just encouraging them to just do whatever they want, which is basically screwing over, I don't know, 80, 90% of the fan base now. I know it's not the entire fan base, but the online vocal minority, which it is a minority because there's a lot of people who are not online, never look at a YouTube video, never go on Twitter or Reddit. But for those of us who do, for those of us who are, kind of having a pulse on the community, we know just how bad the state of Call of Duty has been. We know why Call of Duty is dying, why people don't come back, why people just are not interested. We know all this stuff. But I don't know, man. I'm just saying, give it a try. I'm a big Call of Duty fan. That's the thing. That's why I have so much gameplay. Yes, it's not my favorite game in the world anymore, and they've really lost me when it comes to player time. For reference, I had 30 days on Black Ops 2. I had like 28 days on Modern Warfare 3. I played this game a lot and I didn't need a mastery camo. I didn't need a prestige system that goes to 1 million. You know, I played the game because it was fun, and they don't make these games like they used to. Not to sound like a boomer, old head unk, but they don't. So anyway, bottom line here, Battlefield 6, it looks strong. The beta should be easy and you know, like easy to secure, easy to play, to get into. Seems like skill-based matchmaking is going to be kind of minimal. So matches should be fast and balanced, and I think that's really good. I think they're anticipating that a lot of new players and maybe people from the Call of Duty scene are going to be jumping on this game. And so they're probably trying to, you know, make it a little more user friendly, make it a little more inclusive for the newer player. Also, something I didn't really mention too much, but the game appears to be improved by feedback from Battlefield 2042, their previous game, as well as other modern shooters. For instance, like not including goofy skins. They learned their lesson, or they learned from Call of Duty and were like, hey, maybe we shouldn't do that. Anyway, there's apparently, there's going to be like streams on Twitch and stuff like that you can unlock early entry, different cosmetics. But yeah, overall, it's not the worst thing in the world. Okay, there is good stuff happening. The news about skill-based matchmaking is not the end of the world. It is a little concerning, I must admit, because anytime you see skill in modern shooters, you kind of twitch a little, especially if you're a Call of Duty fan. You kind of you kind of start tweaking out a little bit, at least if you're me. But I'm here to tell you that at least as of right now, it doesn't seem terrible. Again, we have to play the game. We have to play beta, and I'm going to try it. I'm going to test it out, try to get some gameplay. If not, I got my homie Invader. He's definitely going to hit me up with a code, or at least with some gameplay, something like that. But yeah, man, that'll do it for the video, man. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Yeah, I don't want to, ramble on too much longer, but hopefully, this game is going to be good. We need a new FPS shooter that is actually good. It's been far too long, but yeah, man, that's it. Let me know what you plan to play. Are you going to play weekend 1, or we can play weekend 2? You can play it all. Let me know what you're excited for when it comes to Battlefield 6, and I'll see you in the next video. Leave a like, subscribe if you're new, leave a dislike if you want. I'll see you guys later. Peace.